Good stick work there by Stutzla. Young German storming into the Kane zone, send it cross, and it's still on the goal line, still trickling, and it stays out. Kochetkov gets just a piece.
It's a penalty shot.
Brady Tkachuk. 13 goals on the season. Here comes the Ottawa captain on Kochetkov. Top of the paint, comes in, and Kochetkov crashes in and denies the opportunity. And then he's got a little word for Tkachuk, who comes up hot.
That was my favorite sequence of the entire game. Welcome to the Canes Corner podcast. I am Adam Gold. The Hurricanes beat the Ottawa Senators by a 4-1 margin tonight. And right there was the entire game for me in terms of enjoyment. If you had to wait from the start, look, Carolina scored 4 goals, but if you had to wait for from the start of the game for that, I mean, it's just worth hearing again.
Good stick work there by Stutzla. Young German storming into the Kane zone, send it cross, and it's still on the goal line, still trickling, and it stays out. Kochetkov gets just a piece.
It's a penalty shot.
Brady Tkachuk. 13 goals on the season. Here comes the Ottawa captain on Kochetkov. Top of the paint, comes in, and Kochetkov crashes in and denies the opportunity. And then he's got a little word for Tkachuk, who comes up hot.
Incredible. We're brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it's for the exterior of your home, you can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina on Hamlin Road in Durham. No place like it. Sammy Hanna and his crew do a great job. You should check them out. Siding, roofing, entry doors, storm doors, gutter helmets, carports, awnings, railings. They do it all. Aluminumcompany.com. All right. A lot of things I want to get to tonight. We're obviously not going to be here forever. It's a little chilly. But this is the exact kind of game Carolina needed. And it's not because they were dominant. They weren't. It was a pretty even hockey game. You're not going to be dominant all the time. But Carolina stuck to their game. They didn't get drawn into silliness. Didn't spend too much time in the penalty box. 4 power plays had to be killed. Penalty kill was great, 4 for 4. Power play, they were 2 for 2 on their opportunities. Power play was snappy. Might have something to do with Tony DeAngelo coming back. I'm not saying it did. DeAngelo is very good on the power play. He's their best, point man on the power play. But I'm not sure that had everything to do with the fact that Carolina scored 2 power play goals. Didn't have anything to do with the first one. But it might have had something to do with the second one. I'm not sitting here like lobbying for it. But it was it just looked smoother with DeAngelo at the top of the umbrella. But here's why tonight was such a big deal for Carolina. Because A, the big guys showed up offensively. And frankly, they showed up in all facets of the game, but they got on the score sheet. Aho with 2 goals and an assist. Jarvis with a goal. Teravainen with an assist. Necas with a goal, and I thought Necas played his best game in a long time. We're going to forget the third period, which was a forgettable period for Necas. He gets drawn into the Tkachuk games by retaliating after a cross check. You got a 3-goal lead. Marty, laugh at him and skate away. Goes to the penalty box. Carolina's got to kill that power play, and it's relatively early in the period. And then he gave the puck away a couple of times late. We just can't have those types of things when you have a 3-goal lead, and history tells us, boy, it goes the other way pretty quickly. You want Kochetkov to have the best chance to close this out. Now, with that said, Pyotr had to do a lot of heavy lifting in the third period. It was not a good period for Carolina. It's not the way you want to play with a 3-goal lead because they gave Ottawa chances. Senators probably played their best period in the third. And Kochetkov was great. Everything we wanted to see from Kochetkov in the third period in Calgary, we saw tonight. Had we seen it in Calgary, he probably would have played in Vancouver and again tonight. Now, who knows what happens in Vancouver, but Like, he was really, really, really good tonight. That Pyotr Kotchetkov is not a liability. But of course, we only saw it once. He's been good before. He's been good in other games. But I think the other games where he was really good, Carolina was dominant. They were not dominant tonight. This was a game that could have gone either way. To be honest, I think Ottawa probably had the better scoring chances tonight. And Kochetkov was the difference in the game. I mean, we should recognize that. And especially me, I can't have been any more critical of Carolina's goaltending, and I'm still not necessarily a believer. But tonight is the kind of a night that I'm not asking him to repeat this, but if he can kind of just stay in, somewhere within range of this is the kind of a performance that gets your teammates back confident in you confident in yourself, your head coach confident in you, and you're the kind of guy who can go with it for a while, and who knows, maybe give Freddie time to come back. But certainly gets you later in the season because I still think Carolina is going to need another goalie. I mean, they have to go out and get another goalie. Ronta's not going to stay healthy. Heck, we haven't seen Kochetkov stay healthy yet. Anyway, it was a dynamite performance. I can go down a long list of Kochetkov saves. I actually think in the grand scheme of things, the 2-pad stack was more luck than anything else because the pads were spread out. It was just all over the place. He was a mess on that. But I thought the save on Sanderson skating across left to right, where he comes out and across. He doesn't go back into his net. He comes out to attack the save. He didn't always play big tonight, but it didn't get burned by playing small. So there were still some things that, frankly, as I'm watching, I'm like, all right, got away with that. But for the most part, he was tremendous. I thought his reaction times were great. I thought his movement side to side were great. He iced the puck twice on his own, which I don't think is good. But his willingness and his ability to play the puck, I thought was very good tonight. On the goal, he really didn't have any chance. He was kind of stuck behind Jordan Martinook, who was down. And I think Martinook impeded Kochetkov coming out to even try to cover that. And Carolina just couldn't get a handle on that puck to get it out of harm's way. And it was after he had made a couple of good saves on Tkachuk. Well, one good save. He made a save before Tkachuk had back-to-back tries. Tkachuk might have gone over the bar on his own the first time. Second one, Brett Pesce made a great play. I thought Pesce was very good tonight. I thought Brady Shea was very good tonight. I thought Jacob Slavin was next level tonight. We saw great Jacob Slavin tonight. I liked, again, I said it before, I like Tony DeAngelo on the ice. If Andrei Svechnikov's going to be out for an extended period of time, then I'm on board with going 11-7 for a little bit for two reasons. One, I do think it gives you the opportunity to use Tony on the power play, and you can spot him here and there. He played under 10 minutes. But if you can get your power play going with Tony, it does two things for you. One, it gets your power play going. And two, and I think it's pretty obvious, that they're going to try and trade DeAngelo. And having DeAngelo operate your power play, especially if it gets going, at that point you might not want to trade him. If it gets going, then you have even more value with DeAngelo on the ice. But I also think that Tony adds, he adds some tenacity and the ability to pass. He's just such an unbelievable passer. He's got great vision. Now, that he was playing poorly before he was, healthy scratched. He really was not playing well. The power play wasn't doing well. He was bad. And he'd be the first person to admit that. So it was going to happen at some point, and Rod just decided, look, I got to get Dmitry Orlov playing well, and the only way to do that is to let him be who he is. In order for us to do that, I got to get Jalen Chatfield on the ice. And that third pair really has solidified since Chatfield has played. All right. Couple of other things I want to get to. I want to get to some big picture stuff as well. So we saw a really good Aho. We saw good Jar. I thought that line was very good tonight. Although I don't think they were very good offensively, except for the second period. And again, one goal was the power play goal. The other goal was a 4-on-4 goal. And I'm not sure why. I just think that, again, Carolina wasn't a dominant team tonight. It was an even game. I liked Martin Necas tonight. I thought this was the best game he played. I might have already said that. Who knows? Everything runs together. Doing the aftermath, running right into the podcast. Sometimes I repeat myself. So let's give you something new. Jack Drury was Carolina's best player in the first period. I don't think it's any question that Jack Drury won the first period for Carolina, even though they were 1-1. And I'll just give you two plays. I thought Jack was very good throughout, but I'll give you two plays. They're on the power play, meaning Ottawa's on the power play. And it's already 1-0. And Claude Giroux is sneaking in the back door. It's going to be 2-0. And Drury recognizes it and gets down low to deny the pass across. Nothing happens. Beautiful play from Jack Drury. He is a super smart player. And then on the power play, and Drury is in the place of Andrei Svechnikov, and he's obviously in a different role because he's not the player that Svechnikov is, a different type of player. But it was his puck retrieval, which is frankly a specialty of Andrei's. His puck retrieval at the blue line extends the play. Then he makes a very good pass to Brady Shea, who passes across to Necas for the one-timer. And I think every one of us got a little tingle down our leg when Carolina had a one-timer possibility on a power play, because that's not what Carolina seems to ever have. And I wish they would have one on both sides. Not that your power play is anything like Tampa's, but part of the beauty of Tampa is you've got Stamkos, a righty on the left, Kucherov, a lefty on the right, and Braden Point in the bumper. And to me, that's as unstoppable a power play as you're going to find. Carolina doesn't have that kind of skill, but they've got some good players, and we just need to get them in shooting positions. And Necas on the left, in the left faceoff circle was absolutely dynamite. He just ripped it past Korpisalo. It was a great pass across from Brady Shea, but we need more. We need to see more of that, because it's one more dynamic weapon that you've got. But the play was made by Jack Drury at the blue line. It's just a dynamite play. I don't know that he was great the rest of the game. He was good, but he was the best player in the first period. I thought Carolina had a bunch of good players tonight. Really, I didn't see many players that didn't play well. My best players in the first period: Drury, obviously Kochetkov. I thought Brett Pesce was excellent, and Necas. And I wrote that before the goal. I thought Marty was very good. Marty looked like the Martin Necas we need to see. In terms of total line, that line might have been the best line tonight. I thought both wingers were outstanding. Kotkaniemi was good. He doesn't have to be great. He just has to be solid. But I thought Teravainen and Necas were very good tonight. And I thought, if I'm, my thoughts going in were, when I saw the lines, and I thought, okay, look, they're giving Necas another chance. Without Svechnikov, and then you're going to 7, makes sense. Going to 11 and 7. But to me, Necas has, especially lately, hasn't really earned that spot. I would have much rather have seen Bunting play on the left with Teravainen on the right. But for whatever reason, I thought Necas was outstanding tonight, and I think it's important that he gets going. I mean, for a lot of reasons. They need Martin Necas to be at his best. When Carolina is playing at their highest level, Necas is a difference maker. He can't just be an occasional difference maker. And it doesn't have to be with all sorts of speed and fancy skating. I mean, he was a pretty direct player tonight until the third period when he kind of went on walkabout. But 31 saves for Kochetkov. The penalty kill went 4 for 4. The power play was 2 for 2. It's been a while since you can say Carolina won the goaltending battle, Carolina won the special teams battle, and their best players outplayed the other team's best players. Now, part of the reason for Carolina's best players outplaying Ottawa's best players was the goalie. All right, now, big picture stuff real quick. None of this matters for Kochetkov, and I think I might have even alluded to this before. None of it matters unless he does it again. But he doesn't have to do that again, right? He doesn't have to be what we saw tonight. Because, again, this was not a great Hurricanes team game. They were good. They were good tonight. But they didn't dominate the puck. They didn't shut down Ottawa's scoring chances. And this is what Carolina wants to do. Carolina wants to stifle you. They don't want to give you chances. And they want to just pile up as many of their own as they can. So there's safety in numbers, so they'll eventually get enough goals to beat you. But they are about scoring chance prevention, goal prevention, which is why during the playoffs or during the period of time where Andre was out last year into the playoffs, I kept saying, I know it sounds bad, and at some point they're going to miss Svechnikov. But Carolina is a goal prevention team, not a goal scoring team, even though they can score. The problem this year is that they haven't been good enough in goal prevention. Some of that is that they've made too many mistakes, and some of it has been their goaltending has been trash. But tonight, they made their share of mistakes. Kochetkov just covered them up. You need that every once in a while. You need your goalie to win you a game. And the Hurricanes got that from Kochetkov tonight. But again, it is just one game. He's got to do it again. He doesn't have to do that again, but he has to be solid. We can't have the third period meltdowns that we saw in Calgary. Of course, he had help there. On the first goal, the Rasmus Andersson goal, it was Michael Bunting that lost the battle and allowed just an easy chance for Rasmus Andersson. That wasn't on Kochetkov. But Kochetkov stopped the next one. He just couldn't prevent it from leaking through. That was the one that went 5-hole and just kind of trickled across the goal line. I mean, he stopped it. He should have he should have completed the save. He didn't. And then the third one, the shorthanded goal, yeah, there were mistakes made before he had a chance to make a save. But he was in a crouch. He was small. He was tiny. So that was that. Tonight, we saw a different Kochetkov. And the Hurricanes need something closer to this version to make this whole thing work. It's tough to play the kind of style Carolina plays because you allow fewer chances, but a lot of the chances you allow are doozies. So you have to have confidence in your goalie. So he stopped 2 breakaways during the run of play tonight. He got, trying to remember who he got the first boot, Matthew Joseph, backhand try, great save with the glove. And then he stopped Batherson after Necas gave puck away in the third period and Brent Burns misplayed or lost the battle on the wall, blah, blah, blah. And then Batherson comes in. Remember, 4-1, plenty of time left. And the last thing we want to see is Kochetkov give up a goal, and then you have to worry, is he going into his unhappy place? and he made the save. And then, of course, the play of the game, which was a terrible call, just an awful call. I don't even pay attention to who the referees are, but they ruled that Kochetkov threw his stick at the puck to keep it out of the net, which he did not do. Actually, if you go to my Twitter at @AGoldFan, I just quote tweeted the goal or the play, and it's a really good move from Stützle, who passed it over to Brady Tkachuk, who could have had a hat trick tonight. And Tkachuk comes in, he goes, I guess it's forehand, backhand, and Kochetkov sticks the pad out and stops the shot. But at the same time, Tkachuk skates into Kochetkov's stick, and so Pyotr loses his stick, and then the puck is trickling. Stahl's trying to get it out. Tkachuk is about to take a swing at it with his stick, and Kochetkov's glove comes out and stops the Tkachuk from actually making contact with the puck. There's a lot of good there, and somehow they came out of it by saying that Kochetkov threw his stick, which he did not do. So then it's a penalty shot, and then we all saw the penalty shot. Tkachuk comes in and puts his head down to locate the puck for 1 second. Kochetkov saw that, took advantage, and he just a diving, sliding poke check, and Brady goes ass over tea kettle into the wall, and then there were shouts of glee or something to that effect between the two. It was tremendous, great theater, great entertainment, but there are times where you want to see Kochetkov get emotionally involved in the game. Not necessarily to that extent. And I think I heard Mike Maniscalco say in small doses. Yeah. But if he's an emotional player, if he can control it, sort of like Harry Potter with magic, if you can control it, then I think it's to his benefit to get emotionally invested in the game. And I really liked that part. So there's a lot of good to the game tonight. And again, it's worth just reminding everybody that this was not a dominant Hurricanes performance. The Senators had more chances, better chances. Carolina got the better goaltending, and they won the special teams battle. Now, if Carolina can get to their full game where they're living behind the other team's net, like we saw for the good part of last year, which, by the way, last year they made some mistakes too. They made a lot of, coverage mistakes, puck mismanagement, all these things. These are not new. They were just able to overcome it. One, last year, more shot suppression. Also last year, while it wasn't great, it was league average goaltending. So if you can get back to playing your game where you have the puck 60% of the game, actually a little bit more than that on average last year for Carolina, if they can get back to that and the goaltending is just okay, just be good. You don't have to be great. Then I think we'll see Carolina look a lot closer to the team they were a year ago. And now something I said about Kochetkov, I'll say about the whole team. Tonight was nice. Wasn't your best. Got away with it because it wasn't a dominant game. It was an even one, maybe even slightly less than Ottawa. But you got to continue playing smart. The penalty kill's been great. Power play needs to continue to improve. But you got to get back to playing this way. This should be the worst that Carolina looks, right? If this is the worst that Carolina looks, all right, now you got something. Detroit's not going to be easy. Detroit just put 6 up on St. Louis tonight. So, good on all fronts. You had Kochetkov have to bail you out in the third. Your Special teams were great. Your big guys got on the score sheet. And some of your most important defensive players, Slavin, looked dynamite tonight. And I thought Brett Pesce played a good game too. Now, without Svechnikov for a period of time, how long do you stay 11-7? I don't think you do it very long, but I think you do it for a little bit, a couple of games. You certainly do it at Detroit, I think, because you won a game. I think you run the same lineup out there, including the goalie. And then we'll see what happens. Well, Nashville will be a different story. You'll have the other goalie. It'll be Antti Ranta. I'm going to guess on Friday at PNC Arena. And depending on how it goes in Detroit, maybe you run the same lineup out there. But I think you go back to 12-6. I think ultimately that's what Rod wants to do anyway. So that was a good one. And it's always nice to win a hockey game. And now maybe they can start a winning streak. By the way, the Hurricanes did avoid the first ever 5-game losing streak where you get no points. If they had not gotten any points tonight, if they had lost the game in regulation, it would have been the first 5-game losing streak in the Rod Brindamore coaching regime. They've lost 5 in a row before, last year as a matter of fact. But they dragged 4 of the games into overtime. They have not had the longest losing streak they have had without getting anything out of it was a 4-game losing streak in November in the second year. It's November, whatever, early November, early November in 2019. The only time they've ever lost 4 games in a row, getting no points out of it. So they had a few losing streaks last year, but they managed to get something out of just about all of them. Anyway, we don't have to worry about that now. We'll see everybody after Detroit on Thursday night. Maybe it'll be a little more mild on the back porch. Anyway, we're brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it's for the exterior of your home, you can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina on Hamlin Road in Durham. No place like it. Yes, Doug, you're right. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I never do all those things, but I wish you would. It's good for us. It makes me feel good. If I'm sitting out here in the cold, it makes me feel very good that you would do that. Shouts to you in Adelaide and Perth and Dublin and Alaska. My gosh. Thank you very much for putting up with this. This is the Canes Corner podcast. We're here live after every game, almost every game. And I'm Adam Gold, and I will see you all very, very soon. But first,
Brady Tkachuk, 13 goals on the season. Here comes the Ottawa captain on Kochetkov. Top of the paint, comes in, and Kochetkov crashes in and denies the opportunity. And then he's got a little word for Tkachuk, who comes up hot.
it was phenomenal. Good night.